Because I see a lot of people people always bring up the fighter pay with the UFC, but what's isn't Logan complaining right now that he didn't get his checks from Floyd? Is that like a boxing issue versus
you don't
boxing thing?
You don't ever hear that coming out.
To this day,
you hear a guy going, I want to make $30 million, I didn't get paid enough. You don't ever hear guys going, yeah, they didn't pay me yet, ever.
Is that like a boxing issue?
Well, here's what happens when you go in and you do these fights, and you make them. And Hunter, correct me if I'm wrong. You do these fights that are exhibitions or whatever. The commission isn't overseeing it. So let's say I did a fight with Mike. I got Mike fighting, Francis or something. The athletic commission gets the money up front, so they pay the fighters.
Either way, the last thing you really need in your life is for things to go wrong, and you were showing off how you were a big shot financially when you didn't have to, really. You didn't have to do that. And now you have this egg on your face and things are falling apart. And now people are wondering, did you get screwed, or was it your own financial ignorance?
Now, he's accused in multiple lawsuits, all right, of owing millions for luxury watches, gold, and rent as well on the apartment that we just talked about, okay? And so he's got about, I want to say, I counted about...
Dana White criticized Floyd Mayweather regarding discussions of a potential rematch with Manny Pacquiao, suggesting that the move is driven by financial pressure. He called the situation disappointing and questioned Mayweather's current financial standing.
What they got to do and say what they got to say to try to, get in there and make money. It's not even going to be funny. It's going to be...
What if one of boxing's greatest legends is stepping back into the ring for a reason no one expected? Dana White has now taken a direct shot at Floyd Mayweather over growing talks of a possible rematch with Manny Pacquiao. But this time, it's not about legacy, it's about money. According to White, the idea of Mayweather returning for another mega fight doesn't look like a sports decision. It looks like a financial one. And that alone has sparked major controversy. He even called the situation unfortunate, hinting that a fighter once known for unmatched wealth and dominance might now be facing different realities behind the scenes. But here's where it gets even more intense. Dana White didn't just question the fight. He raised doubts about Floyd Mayweather's current financial status, leaving fans shocked and divided. Is this really about a comeback, or something deeper happening behind the curtain? One thing is clear. When names like Mayweather and Pacquiao are involved, nothing is ever simple, and the truth might be bigger than anyone is ready for.
Doing the fight in the States with a different company. That is the company that put on the fight. That is the company that paid. But he sold our fight with my name and likeness to someone else in Dubai for $10 million cash. It's our fight, bro. Our deal was 15%. He fucking smoked me. So I got 15% of it. 15% of $10 million is $1.5 million. That company that paid him that money is suing him. I actually don't know the status on that lawsuit. I should check in because he still owes me money, but he has a bunch of legal trouble at the moment. I don't think I'm ever getting the money.
He just sold his house in Vegas.
Did he really?
Yeah.
I think he's facing a bunch.
Rinsed on that house. He started at $14 million. He custom built the house, by the way, in 2006.
Yeah.
Started at 14, reduced to 12, 10, 8 came on the market, and it was a lot of house.
Dana White is saying that Floyd Mayweather made a huge amount of money during his boxing career. However, the most money he ever earned from a single fight came when he fought Conor McGregor, which was a very high-profile and commercially successful event.
Fights you've ever had? Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather, which ironically is a boxing event, but it's the biggest combat sports fight ever. What did that gross? It did 4.4 or 4.5 million buys at $100 a buy. Yeah.
Wade Clemens is claiming that Floyd initially made financial mistakes despite earning a lot of money. Because of that, and after his main competitive career slowed down, Floyd reportedly started taking part in exhibition matches. These fights are seen as a way to keep earning money even after retiring from professional boxing.
Again, 5 years ago now, but that was like the initial rumblings around that fight. And what Floyd did was use Mayweather Promotions to bring them this fight and say, if you'll front us this money, we'll put this fight here. They fronted him the money. He took the money, had the fight at the Hard Rock in Miami. with Fanmio instead. That was the company that put it on, Fanmio. And Logan saw none of that front end 10 mil, and the people that paid Floyd the 10 mil never saw a dime back. It's nasty work what he did. But this has been like one of Floyd's MOs, is that he leverages his fight name or his quote unquote assets, and which is what, a lot of wealthy people do. They leverage their assets to take out bigger loans or, whatever. But Floyd does it in such a reckless way that no one ever sees return on it. He just takes money. It isn't a loan.
Joe Rogan is suggesting that Mayweather may have spent a large portion of his earnings on luxury and a high-end lifestyle without careful planning. Because of this, there is speculation that such spending habits could create financial pressure over time, even for someone who earned as much as Mayweather.
So you buy a watch and a car, you're down 10. That's nuts. That's nuts.
Crazy.
I remember Iran Barkley was talking about that. Iran Barkley, when he was in his prime, was hanging out with all these professional athletes, and everybody was getting diamond-crusted chains and this and that, and he was keeping up with these people. Like, you got to keep up with the Joneses. And he just found himself, like, draining all of his money. He was talking about it like that was the biggest detriment to him being able to save any money.
They trying to keep up.
Yeah. Which I thought was funny when I was listening to this conversation with Chad Ochocinco. And he was talking about it. He was like,
his jewelry fake.
Yeah, he was wearing fake jewelry.
But who would know?
What's that?
Who would know? He
No
Chad
one know.
Ochocinco.
Exactly.
It's
Fake
like when
jewelry,
they look at him, like
flying economy. He was sleeping at the...
Teddy Atlas is pointing out that Mayweather often displayed his money and luxury lifestyle very openly during his career. Because of that, some people developed envy or resentment. Now, when they see him struggling or facing challenges, they may feel a kind of payback emotion, even though it's more about public perception than facts.
Shots had a great fighter, Mayweather. Probably the same people that were, applauding him and saying how great he was at one point, and now they're taking shots at him like they're almost, like they get pleasure out of seeing a great fall. Potentially
You're right.
fall. Oh yeah, like you said, he was Mayweather, Money Mayweather, and now he's suing because he went through his money, he blew his money, whatever. Look, I don't know what the truth is fully in there. I know Steven Espinoza was named. He ran Showtime at the time. He was named him. I never was a fan of Espinoza. Again, I'm not afraid to say and not mince my words when I feel a certain way. And I've taken arrows for it, and of course I've also taken some praise for it. That people say, hey, Teddy's going to say what he feels. I was never a fan of him. I never thought he was a man that kept his word. I never thought he really did a great job over at Showtime. I mean, they put some good fights on because the fights were available, because the landscape...
Dan Raphael says that the financial concerns now being discussed about Floyd Mayweather Jr. should not be surprising if you closely look at his career decisions and spending behavior. According to Raphael, anyone who observed how Mayweather openly handled and showcased his money over the years could have anticipated this situation developing much earlier. During his peak boxing years, Floyd Mayweather Jr. built a strong public image centered around extreme wealth and luxury. He frequently showcased an extravagant lifestyle, including private jets, luxury cars, high-end fashion, and expensive international trips. These displays were not occasional, but a consistent part of how he presented himself to the public.
My people again later, and hopefully I can get it this afternoon, to actually read the specifics of the suit and what the allegations are. But the fact that Floyd would encounter some financial issues post his boxing career is not in any way a surprise to me. When you see the types of things that, if you believe anything that he puts on his social media, the travel that he does, the places he goes, and the amount of entourage he has, I mean, that's like a money pit. I mean, whether you're flying on private jets or you're staying at first-class hotels, or you're, buying expensive jewelry and cars and bags and you name it. I mean, it's all good when you're making those gigantic paydays and they're coming in, a couple times a year. You're making 40 million here and 25 million there, or even more, 100 million plus, when he fought the big mega fights with guys like Conor McGregor and Manny Pacquiao. But when that stops, that money doesn't...
Although this lifestyle projected an image of success, power, and achievement, it also raised concerns about whether such a high level of spending could be maintained over time. Dan Raphael notes that sustaining extreme luxury requires strong financial discipline, especially after retirement when regular income from professional competition comes to an end. Even very large career earnings can diminish if they are not properly managed and preserved. According to him, the main issue is not how much money was earned, but how effectively it was handled and sustained over the years. With current discussions about financial pressure and Mayweather's continued involvement in exhibition fights, some believe these earlier concerns may now be coming true. What once appeared to be unlimited wealth is now seen as a reminder that long-term financial stability in sports depends on careful planning and smart decisions after the peak of fame is over.
About the 340 million, it just didn't ring true to me, because Al Heyman, who is not named in the suit, but apparently is supposedly part of this problem, whatever. But I mean, I've known Al Heyman and covered Al Heyman's fighters and his business since the day he stepped in boxing in like 2002 with Vernon Forrest. And all that time, and literally in terms of the PBC, you know, a couple hundred fighters that he's dealt with, maybe not personally, but that his team is and his company. To a fighter, you never hear anybody, even when they're retired and they're not with Al anymore, nobody talks bad about him. In fact, if you ask most fighters, they'll tell you how good to them that he has been. That type of money that they've helped him make, and the person that he's paid, and the guidance.
Floyd Mayweather Jr. was widely known for consistently displaying a highly luxurious lifestyle, which helped create a strong public image of unlimited wealth and full financial success. However, the host of Boxing Ago claims that recent developments suggest a different situation may be unfolding behind the scenes. He points to what he describes as a surprising decline in Mayweather's financial condition, highlighting legal action that Mayweather Jr. has reportedly taken against major figures in the boxing industry. Throughout his career, Floyd maintained important professional relationships with executives like Steven Espinoza and organizations such as Showtime, which played a major role in securing massive fight revenues and global exposure. Despite these long-standing connections, the ongoing lawsuit, reportedly worth around $340 million, alleges that a significant portion of his earnings was not fully paid out or properly distributed.
We are going to go through in this video. Now, I've been covering boxing for double-digit years. Allow me to take you through it. A simple Google search shows Floyd Mayweather. You type in his name, you're going to see some fight photos and whatnot. But the top stories, and there's multiple stories, and we're going to take a look at some of them. But as mentioned, Business Insider is now reporting what you see on the screen, that Floyd Mayweather is being accused in lawsuits of owing millions of dollars for luxury watches, gold, and rent on palatial apartment, right? The bullet points. Floyd was sued for allegedly failing.
This development raises serious questions about financial management, the clarity of contracts, and whether long-term planning is properly handled in professional boxing. The contrast between Mayweather's earlier public image and his current legal disputes has surprised many observers. What once seemed like complete financial control now appears to be much more complicated. It suggests that even the most successful careers can face instability when business agreements are unclear, poorly structured, or later become subject to disputes over time.
Represents the $500,000 in arrears plus late fees minus a deposit that Mayweather paid at the start of the lease and the $100,000 catch-up payment. So they deducted what he did submit when he was made aware of this, $100K, and I guess a deposit. So the remaining balance is that. An attorney for Mayweather did not provide a comment by deadline. He has not responded to the lawsuit in court. In a separate legal matter, so we've already went over one with this luxury condo in Manhattan, right? But a separate legal matter, a Miami jeweler sued Floyd Mayweather last month, alleging the boxer owes more than $1 million for jewelry that he took.
Coach Malachi claims that Floyd Mayweather Jr. is currently involved in a major legal dispute, alleging that around $340 million was either mishandled or not properly paid through arrangements linked to Steven Espinoza and Showtime. He suggests that the structure of these agreements may have been designed in a way that shifted financial responsibility away from certain individuals including Al Heyman. He further explains that, based on the specific wording and conditions within the contracts, the legal responsibility may fall on particular parties while excluding others. According to his interpretation, if these contract terms are accurate, it could explain why Al Heyman has not been named in the lawsuit.
Contract, guess what? Al Heyman is clear. And now it explains why Floyd don't have Al Heyman in the lawsuit. He can't sue him. Come on, man. Al covered his tracks. Now, he may be getting sued by big corporations, stuff like that, but he's not being sued by any fighter. They can't sue him. You get what I'm saying? Floyd Mayweather messed up. And adds insult to injury, Floyd Mayweather has a gambling problem, and he spends a lot of money. He loves to spend money. So whatever he have that's in his possession, he's spending that and blowing that on top of the $340 million that he said that's owed to him. Meaning that he never really got paid from the Manny Pacquiao and Conor McGregor fight. Come on, man. Al Heyman got power of attorney. You dig? And he covered his tracks. So shout out
This
to the
discussion
brother, man,
highlights
Al Heyman.
how
You dig?
complex financial arrangements in boxing can be, often structured in a way that limits or protects certain individuals from legal responsibility. Malachi also argues that personal spending habits play a role in the overall picture, pointing out that Floyd Mayweather Jr. has long been linked with extremely high levels of spending, including gambling and expensive luxury purchases. He further adds that even with ongoing claims about unpaid earnings from major fights against top-level opponents, questions about money management continue to arise. In his view, the current situation is shaped by both complicated contract structures and personal financial behavior, creating a broader issue influenced by business agreements as well as lifestyle choices within the sport.
You've been praising him and worshiping him. Continue to praise him and worship him then. You get what I'm saying? You dig? True. And another thing, let's thank Al Heyman.
Well, you know, I guess I gotta be like everybody else and thank Al Heyman.
That's what y'all been doing. You pro Al Heyman and PBC YouTube channels and a lot of you fan bases online. That's what you've been doing. Continue to praise him then. Al is a smart businessman. He finessed the game. Let's give Al Heyman a round of applause. Good job, Al. You did a good job. And this is a lesson to all of those out there, you know, who think because you signed with the black man that you will not be taken advantage of and the white man is the evil devil. If that's your position, there ain't nothing wrong with that. I don't have a problem with however you feel either way. But just understand, when someone wants to steal from you.
Tasha K explains that even though Floyd Mayweather Jr. appears to live an extremely wealthy lifestyle, the reality behind the scenes may be far more complicated. She notes that earning huge sums of money does not necessarily ensure long-term financial stability, especially when there are hidden obligations, ongoing contracts, and payments that may be delayed or not publicly disclosed. According to her view, these unseen financial responsibilities can build up over time and eventually create pressure, regardless of how rich or successful a person seems from the outside.
Too distracted, spending. And when you see somebody like Floyd Mayweather, that's the oldest trick in the book, y'all. Y'all know. When y'all see somebody flogging money everywhere, they got this, they got that, they got this. Was it Gervonta Davis? Tank told us 2 years ago that the reason they held Floyd Mayweather, you can put it back on the screen, captain, in Dubai is because he had owed them money and they wouldn't release him until he announced the fight to give them their money back. You know they do that over there in Dubai, right? You ain't going nowhere if you owe a debt. He was trapped over there for almost 2 months, according to Gervonta. They shared the same manager, Al Heyman, who collected money in cash because Floyd Mayweather gave him a power of attorney to do so. And so when Floyd went down there and sued Showtime, he's suing Showtime, the company, the network, that publicizes these.
She highlights a common financial risk, where spending remains consistently high while obligations slowly increase without much notice. In Floyd Mayweather Jr.'s case, frequently displaying an extravagant lifestyle can easily give the impression of unlimited wealth and financial security. However, beneath that image, there may be ongoing expenses, long-term investments, and contractual commitments that require a continuous flow of income. If earnings slow down or become inconsistent, these fixed financial responsibilities can begin to create pressure. Tasha K's perspective focuses on the idea that real wealth is not only about how much money is earned, but also about how well it is managed, protected, and structured over time. Without careful financial planning and discipline, even very large fortunes can face strain. Her explanation suggests that financial difficulties can develop gradually, where success turns into pressure when spending remains high, while hidden obligations continue to build in the background.
His money in cash to his manager, Al Layman, and Al Layman spent the money. The Muslim in the bow tie spent the money. You see a man coming and he a Muslim in a bow tie, he's spending your money. Oh, it's gone. It's good as gone. You know they send the Nation of Islam down there. You seen the Muhammad Ali story? Don't act like you ain't seen that. Nation of Islam was all up over there. They were all up over Floyd Mayweather's fights and bank accounts and stuff. And so he received it in cash, and Floyd Mayweather is saying he's missing it, and how dare Showtime gives him the money without his permission. He was like, well, wait a minute, but you gave him permission. Yeah, but I didn't tell y'all, I told him. So he's trying to use a way to get in there so he can hold him responsible, because he know he's not going to get the money back from the Nation of Islam at all. That money gone. That money gone.
Paulie Malignaggi argues that much of the ongoing attention on Floyd Mayweather Jr. comes from the way he openly showcased his wealth throughout his career. According to him, if those financial displays had remained private, there would likely be far less speculation about Mayweather's current situation. Instead, Mayweather's constant display of luxury encouraged curiosity, leading both fans and analysts to examine his finances more closely. During his career, he built a public image centered around extreme wealth, often highlighting expensive cars, private jets, and large amounts of cash as part of his personal brand.
He was seeing how much Floyd was making, right? And Floyd himself was flaunting himself like he was the guy who was making that kind of money. And for all intents and purposes, I assume he was. Everybody assumed he was, and it seemed like he thought he was, because he wasn't complaining. He was showing off, you know? This is why, as I get older, I feel like, and everybody always tells you this when you're young, like, keep your finances private. You know, and this is why I think this is a big reason why. First and foremost, you notice that if you don't keep your finances private, everybody and their mothers ask you for money constantly, and they don't ask you.
That happens either way.
And they don't ask you. Well, people assume you have money, but if you flaunt it, you definitely they confirm you have money. And they don't ask you for money like you need to buy the Rolex or the Lamborghini. They'll guilt you into it. They need their mother's dying in the hospital. They need to pay for a funeral. Their kid.
Although this strategy helped build and strengthen his personal brand, it also meant that any change in his financial situation would immediately attract public attention. Malignaggi suggests that this high level of exposure has led people to reevaluate not only his current finances, but also his past decisions regarding spending, investments, and overall money management. He argues that the issue is not just about claims of financial difficulty, but more about how public perception is shaped after years of consistently projecting extreme wealth. When someone repeatedly presents an image of unlimited money and luxury, even minor changes in their circumstances tend to become highly noticeable. Malignaggi adds that if Mayweather had maintained more financial privacy, there would likely be less speculation today. Instead, every new development is closely analyzed, keeping ongoing attention on his financial decisions, investments, and long-term planning.
But offhand, you're asking me what my thoughts are offhand. I can never listen. When I had a lot of money, I was a lot of times spending more, and I wasn't tracking every single cent, right? I mean, I was kind of reckless. I was young. I was, a pro athlete. I went from having nothing to having a bunch of money. So yeah, I'm not always tracking it as well as I should. But bro, if I'm missing a lot of difference money, if there's a huge difference, I'm gonna track it automatically just because it's so obvious. 340 million, no matter how much money you're making, 340 million does not slip through the cracks like you said.
Third of $1 billion.
It's not, I don't know. Like, there's guys who have a lot of money, okay? For me, I could go into a jewelry store, spend 20,000 at the time, like nothing. Like, you know what? I didn't plan on going there. I bought a Ferrari. I went with my friend to go.
If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more deep insights and latest updates from the world of boxing. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an update on your favorite fighters and breaking stories. And now we want to hear from you. What do you think about this situation? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.